All good. All right, now we're
Oh
live.
my goodness. Me and Ron have been talking for the last 10 minutes. We had a really good vibe going.
We did. Yeah, we can restart this. All good.
No,
all good.
no. So we were just talking about how I met Ron at the Long Island TCG Show, and he just started vending back in October, November, and now our first show together was December 1st, and now he just completed his second show with us, January 25th at the New Jersey TCG Show. And what do you have next?
Next, I believe I have Woodbridge this weekend. I think Woodbridge the following weekend, along with Morris County, and then I think I have the February NJTCG show.
Oh my goodness.
I think I have something at the end of the month too. I have to check my schedule, but I'm booked out. I think, as I mentioned, till April. Two of those shows, till June. I have Card Party in June, and then in March I have, or end of February, I have Collecticon in Los Angeles.
So, are you going to do the Tampa Card Party?
I am. Yeah, I'll be there. Card
That's
Party
exciting.
East. Yeah, that'd be a good time.
Yeah, I saw that they added Seattle this year, and I couldn't believe that there's no major card show that goes to Seattle, being that it's such a huge population of people who love cards, and there's a huge tech community too. So I was surprised that they didn't have one. So I'm like, oh, New Jersey TCG Show needs to go to Seattle. But then I saw that card party beat me to it. So maybe for the future. I mean, like, it's so far away, but I think it would be a great opportunity. The West Coast has so many people, and I know that they do shows in LA and Sacramento, Las Vegas, but you don't really hear of like huge shows over in the Pacific Northwest. So
yeah, I agree. You don't really hear of shows like outside of the New York, Pennsylvania, Jersey area. I mean, I know there's the West Coast with like Front Row Card Show, and then wherever like Collecticon lands at, but there's no consistent shows. And I've heard that from people coming up from like Virginia or Florida to your show actually, that like there's nothing like it. We're lucky.
It blows my mind when I get contacted from vendors that are out of state, because I'm like, what? Like, you want to come to my little show, and then they tell me about their shows in their area. It's 20 tables in a VFW, or 30 tables, and three quarters of them are all sports cards. They're like, oh, this is only TCG, and you have 90 tables, you have 140 tables. This is insane. And we hosted, I think, 3 or 4 people we had Florida, Virginia, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey. So we had six different states represented for this past show. And I'm glad that we were able to bring it, because I would really hate for the people to come out of state and then it be a flop of a show. But it's been really nice to see how the show has been growing, and the attendance has been up, and there's so many new people that are in the hobby, and it was such a huge variety of people, a lot of new faces. I mean, I've been running the show for a little over a year, so you get to kind of see people, and then now seeing all these new people, I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, it was insane on Saturday. I mean, you saw it Saturday. Yeah. Once a VIP entered, by 10, my cases were essentially empty. I was confused. I was baffled. I was like, what happened? But that's just the reality of it. It's a good thing. We have people coming in. The line is there. The demand is there. And I think everybody comes in and has an amazing time. I look forward to all your shows moving forward. I just want to attend every single one and help out however I can. There's no reason to not attend the NJTCG shows.
Oh yeah. I'm like, more hype. No, no, it's a really fun time, and I like to think that it's a great experience. And that's one thing that attracted me to you as a vendor, is that you show people an experience. I think that the way that you're able to talk to people and just really be so personable with people, it's more than just, okay, give me your money, here's your card. It's an experience. You say thank you, you introduce yourself, you shake their hand, you give them the time, you're not down looking at your phone, you're really personable. And I like that. I like that in a vendor. I like that it really makes you stand apart from other vendors. From in other shows, not our show. All of our shows are wonderful. All of our vendors are wonderful. But I walk around a lot of shows. I mean, I said, aside from going to my show, I go to a lot of shows, and I don't necessarily want to stop at someone's table if they're not looking up or they're not saying hello. And you don't necessarily know who I am. Not that I'm like some big deal, but it's a difference between someone who's a newer vendor or a vendor I've never met before, and the way they treat me before and after they know that I run the New Jersey TCG show. And it's a big turnoff when someone is like, oh, like I want someone to treat me like they treat everyone. And but that's you. When you don't know who these people are. They're just coming up to their table. They could have, 50 grand in their pocket, or they could have $5, but they want to see this gold star, whatever you're going to show them.
Yeah. Of course. So I think it's very important to draw that human connection. Just be personable. Everybody's there to see you and what you have to showcase and what you have available for them to buy or to trade towards. And there's no reason to not give somebody that attention. So I think it's very important to just be able to like say hi. I think that just goes a long way.
Do you prefer when someone is trading in cards or when they're just paying cash?
I prefer both. I have no preference. Because in trades, like I can really work with somebody to help them get what they want. I'm not ever out to get anybody. Like I'm not gonna mark up a card. I'm gonna stick to whatever market is and what people are actually paying. But yeah, I'm not out to get anybody. I'm there to help people get what they want. And I think if I keep it to that simple basis, it'll always be a good time.
How did you get into? Were you a collector, or how did you get into Pokemon?
It's a funny story. It's a long story. I'll try to condense it as much as I can.
That's okay. We got 45 minutes.
Yeah. All right. So I grew up in Queens, New York, where I had a lot of accessibility to Pokemon cards, where I grew up. And at the time, I don't think the market was as crazy. Growing up, I was born in '98, so I didn't get into like the first edition cards and all that. I was too young for it. But cards I grew up with were like the third generation cards. That's like really what I got into. At some point in life, my parents transitioned to New Jersey. I don't know what happened to those cards. I assume they were thrown out or trashed during the big move, and fortunately, I never got them back. But who knows what I had in there. But nowadays, I think in 2020, during like the other big boom of Pokemon, I got back into it, trying to get after like whatever was out at the time. And I didn't have much success, so that kind of just died out. And then fast forward to last year, 151 was released, and I was familiar with that set, the original 151 Pokemon. I was like, all right, I want to get into that. I ordered a few ETBs off Amazon back when they were reasonably priced. And
oh my goodness, ETBs on Amazon.
Yeah, they were like $50, and Amazon had like specials for like $40, and I have no idea why, but bought them. I was just so unfamiliar with like where to like get Pokemon cards and how to go about obtaining them. But Amazon made it easy. I got them, and I pulled some decent cards. I pulled like the Blastoise, Venusaur, and from there I was like, all right, let me get these graded. I graded those out. They got 10s, and I was like, oh, this is cool.
Right. You're like, oh, is it this easy?
Yeah. So, and then I was like, all right, I want to like continue this like cycle of like getting cards, grading them, and then building a collection. And I just I just rinse and recycle a bunch of times until I had a decent collection. And then my friend Mike put me onto like vending. He was like the first person to like open that like Pandora's box for me. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this with him and David as well. And that's where we're at now. I started vending, and I bought some cases, and I had my camera, and I was, traffic came to me, and it's just been growing and growing and growing. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun.
What made you want to set up a camera? Was it security, or was it more content creation?
Like I said, it's like it goes both ways.
I think that we weren't recording then.
Yeah. So earlier I touched on the subject of like the security of the case. Obviously, we put out a lot of like valuable items, and it's nice to know that I can walk away from the table, and my stuff is being recorded at all times. I also trust like the vendors around me. It's a safe space. Along with that, I do want to put out more content. As of right now, a lot of it is short form, and you were the one to mention to me to get into long form content. So now I have this piece of the camera that everybody acknowledges, and I get a lot of compliments on. I showed Marilyn earlier, but this is the Sony FX3 with a wide angle lens that I recently picked up and debuted at her show. It just allows me to capture the entire table and all the moments that I may miss with a lens that might be too zoomed in. But yeah, it goes both ways. Content creation, expand my horizons with that, along with just the security of anything I have in there.
Have you always been interested in content creation, or is it kind of a new thing with coming along with vending?
So I used to do like gym workout videos on YouTube when I was younger, along with like powerlifting. I used to compete in powerlifting.
Oh.
So I put out a little like videos here and there on YouTube, same thing, and Instagram as well. But no longer doing that, and I transitioned those skills, the little skills I had, into putting out some content for Instagram, and then hopefully now YouTube and whatnot, and all those platforms.
Have you started streaming at all?
I did one stream. It was like a test run. It went well. I had to work through a lot of technical difficulties, but there's a lot to like streaming. Kudos to everybody that does it. It's time consuming, having to package everything, having to make sure all the orders are in place. Definitely, it's something where like you need a team for that if it does expand to a great capacity.
How'd you do with the streaming? Did you sell a lot?
I think the streaming was around like $200 that I made off my first stream.
Like how many packages?
Do you remember how many? Off the top of my head, I mean, it might have been like a few, maybe like under 10.
Oh, okay.
There was a lot of local support with like friends, family, and I think there was one buyer I wasn't aware of who they were, but I appreciate the support.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, streaming is something that we just started doing for fun on YouTube, just opening up my little baby packs or whatever. But it's something that I do not know how people grow their audience. I don't know how people are able to package all of that. But yes, there's something for everyone in this hobby. You could either own a store, do YouTube, do shows. I mean, anything. But one theme that I'm starting to really like notice is access. That we just want people to get their hands on the cards. We want them to come to shows. We want them to go to local game stores and try and get away from just being able to buy your cards online, because the connection is so important. I really feel that seeing someone in real life, or even meeting or speaking to someone on a stream, is so nice to be able to connect with someone in your hobby, because there's so many people that aren't able to find those connections. And I see that so much when at the shows. It's people that you meet at the shows, or customers that you make, and the people that keep on coming back, and they say, oh yeah. And then you remember their name, or you remember what they bought from you. And it's like that little hit of dopamine, right?
Yes.
You just it's like opening up a pack, and you get to you see your friends for the first time in a couple months or a couple weeks, or you see them once a week, and it's just a fun little meetup, and it's just it just feels good. I think that's my favorite part about going to the shows and being a part of the shows, or seeing the connections and making those connections. Especially people who, like I said, don't have that much access to cards, or they're coming from a far distance to get their hands on the cards. It especially makes me happy when someone says, I saw the map of your show and I saw Ronnie, Mike, and Dave are going to be there. So I'm coming, because
awesome.
I want people to connect with my vendors and keep on coming back, because if they're happy, I'm happy. The vendors are happy. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate the great vendors that are out there that keep on making my shows wonderful. Now, what when you and Mike first started, would you met and you find, did you know that he was into cards, or did he know that you were into cards? Like how did that start? You guys were friends and you just started talking about how you wanted to get into vending?
We worked together in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and I always knew he was into Pokemon cards. He kind of revived my love for it, and I think together we were like, all right, like, I mean, he started it first. I have to give him the credit. He's the one that took the leap into vending and essentially brought me along with it. And as I mentioned earlier, there's also David, you guys have seen, and then we now have another friend that got into vending. His name is Matt, goes by Gloomy Dex. So we're all friends and we're all in this together, and this community just has so much to offer, and I'm really happy to be a part of it.
What does your day-to-day look like when you're waking up and go to a show? What does your case look like? What do you tell me from the minute you wake up? How are you well, I guess the night before, how are you prepping?
So I'll make sure that my car is packed the night before, and I'll make sure it's charged so I'm ready to go in the morning. And
you have
and
electric vehicle.
I have an electric car. And I'll make sure it's prep ready to go. I have a checklist that I have because I have forgotten things, and it is extremely regrettable. I feel extremely unprepared when I don't have everything I need. But yeah, I'll prep my car. Everything is good to go. I'll make sure all my batteries are charged. Anything I want to take is loaded up. In the morning, typically, like, we set up at 7 a.m. I think that's just the general consensus around like all the shows. And then I'll probably head out like 2 hours prior, depending on the distance. Like for me, your shows are maybe like an hour and change. So I like to leave about 2 hours before, get some food, just load up on like snacks that I can carry. And probably the biggest tip I can let anybody know is make sure you have water. Stay hydrated during these events, because sometimes there is an accessibility to water. So make sure you have that. But yeah, by 7 a.m. I'm usually at wherever I need to be. I make sure everybody I'm going with is awake and also on their way, and just start setting up.
You have to wake people. Are you waking up Mike and David? Throw them under the bus.
I'll plead the fifth. But no, we keep each other accountable. We keep each other intact, and making sure that we're all there, because we need each other at these tables. Yeah.
So are you pricing your stuff the night before? Are you getting everything? How are you prepping that? Because the market is up and down.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's a dangerous game. I used to do it, but now with today's market, a card might be worth $100 one day. For example, Jesse and James is worth $150 at the Liquid Games show. Sold that. Following day, it's like $400. So you can't really price things the day before. I think it has to be, or if you are, just make sure you're double checking whatever you have during your setup.
What what else would you tell someone who was going to their first show? What would you tell them?
Be prepared. The shows that we have in our area have a lot of traffic, so it can be a little overwhelming. But everybody's there with good intentions and in good spirits, just trying to find what they want. Have fun. Like, don't live in FOMO. If you're living in FOMO, chasing a card or a set, you're going to get stressed trying to find what you want, and there won't be accessibility to it. But I can promise you, the card you want will eventually come to you. It'll find its way to you. Don't make a silly financial decision trying to get a card that is very unattainable. That's probably what I would tell somebody at their first show.
Do you have a big PC? Are you someone that just you're buying and selling and you don't hold on to anything?
The PCs and me they just don't exist. My problem is I always want to help somebody find what they want. I tell myself I created a PC, and every time I tell myself that, it's gone by the end of like a show, because somebody will be like, "Oh, do you have this?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, it's my PC," and I bring my PC with me. So if somebody wants it, I'll make sure I can make it accessible and give it to them. As of right now, only 2 things I've actually been holding on to that people have seen, like, stickered in my case, is not for sale, are the 151 Zard, because it's just nostalgia behind that card. And then the Bubble Mew, which is one of the very first cards I graded. I had that in a 10, both in graded guards. The Charizard and the Sunset Guard, which I think looks beautiful, that combination. But those are the only two things I have right now. At some point, once like vending makes getting cards more sustainable for me, maybe I'll dive into like the cards I had as a child, like the EX era. It's one of my favorite sets, all those gold stars and whatnot. But for now, I'm just trying to grow like whatever I can to make it accessible for people.
Oh, what was your favorite show? Like what makes, I guess I should say not what was your favorite show, because you were going to say mine. No. What makes a great show?
I think when you can see that there is effort being put behind like marketing the show or getting it out there, along like just with everybody's effort, just promoting it, and then seeing that, like, for example, your show is, like all the VIP tickets sold out, and then like on my bathroom break during a show, seeing the line right before everybody comes in. I think that's a good sign of a good show. I like that you're very transparent with like the incoming traffic. I think the transparency makes it for like a very fun time, and people know what to expect. So people are going to want to attend these shows. Along with that, people won't want to make content around the show that isn't fun. So if vendors are putting out content at these shows, it just goes to show they're a good time. So I look forward to every single show that I'll be at. All your shows I know will be amazing. Like I mentioned, if I could pay you out for the rest of the shows for like this year, I would do it. I just want to make sure I'm locked in for those.
You're not going anywhere. I'm not going to kick you out. I actually, a couple people have asked me for an annual pass for vendors, and I'm like, like the ones that are asking for that are people who I would never turn away, or I'd never have a problem with booking a table for. It's, people I have to chase after. Those are the ones that are a little more frustrating, but I'm loyal to my vendors because my vendors are loyal to me, and I've built these relationships over the last year and a half, and I feel very grateful for that they were taking a chance on me when I didn't have anyone following the show or anything like that. The first show had, like, I don't remember if it was 26 or 32 tables. It was nothing. We'd a little over 100 attendees, and it rained. So new vendor, new venue, new shows, and rain. It was not a great combination, but I have I had at least two vendors it was their very first show when they did my show for the very first time, and they vended with me every single show. And I'm just like, to see their growth is like, it's phenomenal. It's insane. I'm so proud of them. When I see what they're doing, I'm just like, whoa, like maybe there's something to this, and it's also to go back to the community, like they're so supportive of me, and I'm 100% supportive of them. And I'll always refer people to them for whatever they're selling. And it's something that I like to do when I'm promoting the show, is when people are taking pictures of what they're bringing. And then I like to tag them and then say what table number they're in, because people follow the map and they say, where's table 82? Where's table 66? So, and then you can kind of direct them. And that's just like just a little added something that I like to give the experience of coming to the show. Although it's last show, it was a little cramped, so it wasn't really like people really couldn't get around to all the tables at like without any resistance. But that's something that I like to do. What is there ever a bad show?
No, I don't want to say there is a bad show. There might be shows where the traffic isn't there. And I'm sure there's many factors. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes when setting up shows, but people that show up to those shows are usually there for a good time. Just some might just be busier than others. Sometimes there are shows where people just want to buy, and then there's shows where people just sell everything or trade everything. And there's times where like there's just spectators, which I think there's a time and place for everything. And like I said, everybody's welcome. But to tell you that there's like bad shows, I'd be lying to you, because there really isn't. It's always a good time no matter what shows I attend in our area. I've gone as far as Philly to the Brotherly Love Card Show, and it's a different crowd, but it's still a good time no matter where you go.
What do you like, a TCG only show, or do you prefer a mixed card show?
I actually prefer like a TCG only show. I know a lot of people prefer the mixed ones because normally they're more so saturated with sports, and then there's few and far in between, like with Pokemon vendors. So whatever people come in for Pokemon, they have very limited options, so it's a good day for the vendor. But I prefer the NJT or the TCG shows only. I prefer the
truth.
But yeah, I prefer. I might be like in the lower consensus where people I think prefer the mixed shows, but I do enjoy when it's only TCG.
You're entitled to your opinion, even though it might be wrong.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. No, I mean, I prefer a TCG only show, but I'm a little biased. I'm not a sports guy, you know. Like I'm just starting to collect Pokemon. I feel like I'm very late to the game, but I really enjoy it. I love collecting the cuties. I love opening up my little cutie cards. I mean, I love when I get when I open a pack and it's a huge chase card. I'm like, I freak out. You know,
it's an adrenaline rush. But yeah, I think TCG shows, especially yours, that where you label where people will be set up with what. I think that's a really good idea, and I think anybody setting up a show should follow that because it's a good standard. I think it helped a lot with people who were looking for like One Piece. I think you labeled. I think there was a few tables in red for One Piece at your show on Saturday. So I think that goes a long way. I'm a huge sports guy. I just haven't dabbled into that. I don't know if I ever will.
Yeah, sports is a whole different animal because there's so many variations and so many and anything could happen as a person like these you know, Pokemon. It's they're not going to get injured and like be out, you know, or commit a crime, and then you're like,
and then your $10,000 card is worth nothing,
right? You're like get caught up in some kind of crazy scandal.
Yeah.
In the time that you've been vending, do you see any? Do you feel the huge difference in the Pokemon market?
Yeah, I do. I think it has its upsides. There are also their downsides to like the crazy market we're in right now. Like I know I set up, like I mentioned earlier, like a price. Today's price is not yesterday's price, and that's just the general like idea I have going on. I think it's cool to see all these cards rise in value. Obviously, I fear for anybody paying, extreme amounts for a card and then that value dropping overnight. But that's just the reality of it. Sometimes it can happen, and I'm sure it will happen. But I think the bigger downside is sometimes these cards become unattainable, and there might be a kid out there that wants a Charizard from 151 and a 10 and a PSA 10, but that's now an $1,100 plus card. So I think it prices some people out. But for those that already have it, it's cool to see that their collection's value goes up. So I think there is the pros and cons to the market that we're in now, but obviously just be careful. And like I said, don't live in FOMO. The card you want will come to you at some point. I don't like seeing people make like silly decisions over a card that they really want and not need.
What is your strategy with buying and selling? Are you taking any of your profits? Are you snowballing? Are you trying to build a higher end collection? What kind of variety do you have in your case?
So I stick to mostly modern, only because that's what I kind of got back into it, like into Pokemon with modern cards, like Scarlet and Violet era. I like to keep that. I don't dabble into vintage, maybe at least not just yet, because it's such not that it's a niche market, but people are looking for very niche things in the vintage market. People want like the double hollow errors, a specific swirl somewhere in the hollow. And I might miss it. Like these cards, I'm just not, my eye isn't trained to see that yet. But I do want to eventually expand my inventory and get into things like that, because like I said, my whole goal is just to make things accessible for everybody. Anything I've made like profit wise, I've just reinvested. I have been very fortunate and extremely grateful for the success I've had in the last like 3 months now. Not even 3 months yet, but anything I've made, I keep buying just to expand my inventory, because you will get cleared out. You saw it on Saturday. I came with a decent amount of cards, and that was gone very quick. So I had to buy heavy. Also, like I mentioned earlier, I upgraded my camera. I think the cases that I have that you now also carry look very professional. I added some lights in there, and it's cool to see that. I don't want to take credit for that trend. I don't, but
I think you should.
No.
Yeah, you had it in December 1st, and by January 25th, 60% of the people who have black cases, or I would say 90% of people with black cases, have lights in them.
Yeah, I think like we want to look presentable to the crowds that come in. I mean, at least I like to look presentable and make my case look good. Like the lights at first, like my idea was to catch your eye, so you come and look at what I got because it's nice and bright. But it's good to see that now everybody is adapting that. I wasn't the first person to do it. I saw somebody with their cases and LEDs in them. I couldn't tell you what show. I think it might have been like the first show I was at, and I really liked that idea. And it's good to see that has now grown. I'm always sending people the link that I used for the LEDs, and I'm always happy to help you set them up. Yeah, it's just cool. It's a community that we have to just continue growing and communicate with.
Who do you look up to as a vendor, or do you look up to anyone? Or are you just like, I want to be me?
I do want to be me, but I would be wrong to not mention people that have answered questions that I've had. There are so many people. I will definitely forget to name a few. Pokemon Go.
This is your acceptance speech.
Yeah. Yeah, Pokemon Go. I think he was the first one I watched vendor POVs of in our area. Obviously, there are the bigger names that do like the big shows consistently, but in our area, somebody that I actually could speak to was him, and he embraced any questions I had with open arms, answered anything I've had, and it's an awesome being helped by King, who is flourishing in many ways in this community. There's him. There's Joey with his laugh, always gets me going. I think I met Joey at a trade night at Big Pack, local shop in our area. There are so many names. There's Vito, who goes by Jersey Drip, Ray Briggs, Mike, my friend, David, goes by Poke Dave. There's so many names. Forgive me for forgetting anybody's name, but any questions I've had, the community has answered. If there's something that I'm looking for, people will help. If there's something that people are looking for, I will help. Just here to have fun and hopefully be somebody that people can look up to in the spending game or in the Pokemon community.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think that the more content that you put out, the more people are going to know about you, and the more they're going to be attracted to coming to your table, because you make people feel like $1 million. I mean, like, at least that's my perspective. I mean, like I love the way that you treat people, and the way that you're very personable with them, and you're willing to work with them in their prices, and you really, it's something special to watch. What how much wiggle room do you usually have when you're selling cards? Are you pricing 100% at market, or what do you usually do with your pricing?
Yeah, so let's keep it easy, like easy numbers. Let's say a card is worth $100. If I'm buying it, I'll offer anywhere from like 75 to 80%. It's cash. And then from there, like I keep an open mind. I know that if I were to sell these things like on eBay, I'm not going to get 100% of market price. I'll probably get anywhere from like 88 to like 90%, depending on where I sell. So I keep that in the back of my mind. So if somebody offers me around that percentage, let's do it. Like, there's no reason not to do it. And then that kind of just creates a trusted customer, or they trust you and they'll come back to you. I've seen that multiple times. What I don't like seeing is like when, for example, the same card is at $100 and somebody has it at like 150, and their reasoning is just awful. It's like, oh, it's gonna get there one day, but what if it doesn't? Right. I just don't like that. Leaves like a sour taste. But I think we should do things the right way, and if you do things the right way, people will keep coming back to you. But that gives me like a little wiggle room to make anywhere from like the 10 to 20% profit on things. It all depends on, like, obviously conditions of cards, or if it's sealed product, or whatever the case may be. But there's a lot to dabble into in this community.
Are you mostly raw or sealed or graded cards? What do you have in your case?
I have a little bit of everything. Now at least I do. At first I was slabs only. I didn't want to deal with raw. But then, like, I also figured I'd limited my options, or I limited like people coming to me by only having graded cards, because those can get really expensive, obviously. And although it's always nice to give somebody their first graded card, but I now carry both raw. I carry a lot of sealed packs. I carry whatever I can. The question isn't if I want to carry, it's like if I can carry it, because my car is a sedan and I run out of space pretty quick. Yeah.
Sounds like a huge investment. You've made lots of investments. You've got your camera, you've got your cases, you got your lights. Now you're gonna need a minivan, or like
yeah. The barrier, or like the cost of entry into vending isn't much. You can have like a very simple setup. I've seen people just put like a plexiglass on the table and then have the cards underneath there. So whatever works for you. I'm very extra, and I like to look good and look presentable. So when people come to me, they're like, "Oh wow, that was a really good setup," and it's good to hear, like, when people really enjoy your setup.
Yeah, I mean, I tell people all the time, you are the product, and you're definitely an example of that. Like, you're always looking fresh. Like from head to toe, what you're wearing looks good. Your case looks good. You have the cookies you had in the case. Yeah. Everything was lined up. Everything was perfect. And just the way you treat people, and you have this very professional looking camera, like it looks top tier, and you want to attract the best customer for you. So I think and the beard looks great.
I try.
Yeah. I've also being told in the chat that you should tell the ninja story.
All right. That was I guess like the inception of my vending relationship with Mike. He pulled the Greninja from Twilight when that set first came out, and I was like, I need that. Yeah, I was like, wow. Just the colors on that card pop incredibly.
Yes.
I think market at the time was like 150 or whatever the case may be. I told Mike, I'll give you the 150. Let me have that card. And that was our first official deal. Afterwards, I went ahead and graded that card. Came back at 10. Jeez. And then he was like, I need that card back.
Oh, wow.
Market at the time was maybe like, I think $500 or $400. I sold it to him around that price, which was very helpful to me, because then that allowed me to get more product and things like that. And ever since then, I've acquired the card multiple times, always saying I want to keep it for myself. He has it now. He has that card that went between us.
Is it the same exact one? Is it the
same exact one?
Oh, okay. It's not someone hasn't. So did someone buy it and then he ended up back with it, or has it just been traded a couple times within the New Jersey TCG community, or has he held on to it?
No, it just stayed between. It stayed between me and him. I have fallen for that card. I've always wanted it back. He got his hands on another one actually at Liquid Games, and I was like, amazing! I got this card back finally. I left it in the case. Next thing I know, Anakin comes up to me, Anakin has minimal cards, and we make a deal on the card. I picked one up on Saturday at your show. I was like, all right, this is mine. That's it. I have my Greninja. literally 5 minutes later, it's gone. So
when you're
one
hot,
day
you're
I'll have
hot.
that card. Yeah, it's a card that I think got me into like the whole vending, so I owe a lot to that card, but don't have them right now. If anybody has one, I'd love to have one.
Yeah, you gotta keep chasing, right?
Yeah, and just part of the game.
Right.
A lot
So
of fun. A lot of fun. Mm-hmm.
What's the future look like for you? Where do you want to see yourself with the hobby?
Like I mentioned, I'm doing Card Party. I'm doing the Collecticon in Los Angeles. Los Angeles will be my first like out of state or long distance traveling show where I have to fly. So we'll see how that goes. From what I hear, they're always great shows. So we'll see where it goes. I would like to continue vending as much as I can. I do want to have some goals in mind with like inventory. I want to be able to carry like a certain amount without a problem. Where like if my case clears out, I can just fill it back with whatever I have in cases. But yeah, I think I want to dabble into any little show that I can. I would like to do like if there's any smaller shows coming up, I would like to support. Obviously, it's always good to support the community. Your show, I can't miss any of them, so I'm putting that out there. But yeah,
I'll take
just
it.
gotta see where it goes. Take it, I guess, a show by show. But that's what's in it for me right now. I would like to expand into YouTube. I know YouTube is an avenue that creates a lot of like traffic in terms of like people seeing what you're doing. So I think if I do well on that, then hopefully I just keep growing. That's what I want to do.
Can you see yourself continuing in the hobby in the future? So like opening your own store or do the Collecticon circuit? Is this something that you want to pursue full time, or do you think that you'll continue to do it as a hobby or side hustle?
I think right now I'm gonna keep it to weekend hustle while having fun with it. I don't think I can go full time just yet. I'm sure that avenue will open at some point, but or hopefully I would hope for that to happen. But as of right now, I think it's gonna stay to a weekend thing. I can't really like devote going to every single Collecticon because that's a lot of traveling, and I have a dog here. I have an apartment to upkeep, and I don't know if I can commit to all that just yet. But I think I don't really need to, honestly. We have an amazing. I think we're very lucky and I'm very grateful for like the community that's in our area. In New Jersey, like I mentioned, there's New York and Pennsylvania. Our whole I guess region is just filled with amazing shows, and I think you're leading the way with it. But I'm sure there will be many other ways to go and vend. But for now, I think I can stay local without a problem. Those big shows do come around. They'll be here in New Jersey as well. But I think for me, I'm going to stay homegrown and stay local as much as I can.
Oh, I'm like, oh, good, because I don't want to lose you. Because very good vendors are hard to find, and ones that take what they're due seriously are hard to find too. So I'm happy to have you and your crew. They're really great, solid guys, and they're just a pleasure to work with. Like very, very professional, and I appreciate that. Someone with a retail background. I mean, like you understand the ups and downs of and the stress and the everything that goes into it. So I really appreciate you.
Of course, and I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. So that being said, do you have your Evolutions pack?
I was looking at it this whole time.
See, Ronnie gave me this pack on Saturday, and I have been looking at it all weekend, and I keep on telling my husband, I'm like, I can't open this, because I'm one of those people that like, if you don't open it, it can't disappoint you. Because I'm
That's
just like a little nervous when it comes to these things because they're expensive. These are expensive packs. These are not cheap. So when you handed it to me, I was like, no. But I've already committed that if I get something good, and I have a feeling I'm going to get something good, I'm going to send it off and I'm going to grade it and I'm going to give it to you. Because this is insane. This is an insane gift to give someone. I really, really appreciate it. So, but we pack battle.
Evolutions pack. Yes. Is this your first pack battle on the podcast?
I've never done a real life pack battle. So, are you opening already?
Yeah. Let's
okay. So
for those that can't see, this is an X and Y Evolutions pack. All right, let's do this. I think the card trick is 3 on the back.
Oh.
So
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So we take the card code out. Do we show it?
Yeah.
Or we don't show it?
I mean, sure. If somebody needs that, we can screenshot that.
We're trying to be like Cool Trainer Ryan and PokeRon. All right. So then you take the cards and you take one, the top one or the bottom one?
Yeah, from the back. So yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. So this one?
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. 1, 2.
Make sure that is
3. And this should be the. So this
the
should be
card in the back should be the chase.
So this should be
I can't see the chat. I don't know if the chat is
It just says pack battle. Dave says pack battle, and it says King says he's got the code card. All right, so then this top code should be. top card should be the. It should be the what? It should be the chase.
In the back, yeah, like the last.
But the top card should be the. Is that the energy card? Should that be the energy card? Okay, the last card's a hit. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. We'll figure this out.
All right. You go for it. So what do? You go.
We'll do it together. All right. So I got a Charmander here.
Oh, I'm so excited. I got a Charmeleon.
All right, let's see what I got. I got a trainer card.
I got this guy.
Another trainer. I think you're a little ahead of me.
Oh.
Pikachu.
Oh, Pikachu!
Look at that. Starmie.
Caterpie.
Got Onyx.
Drowsy. These are all fun cards. I love Diglett.
This is Weedle. Brings back a little nostalgia.
Oh my gosh. Charmander.
Some Chop. Oh, trainer.
Hollow Trainer.
Okay. Is that your last card?
No. Ooh, what is that one?
Oh, this is my last card I pulled. That was a Rattata.
Oh, that's cool. There are lights. Everything looks so fancy.
This is my last card. I jumped ahead, but it's a Mewtwo.
Oh, shit! That's awesome. You were not as excited as I am. Okay, let's see.
Starmie. Hey, we'll take it.
Is that it? Didn't I get this one already?
I think we messed up our pack battle.
No. No. Okay. This is cool. So this Charmander, Diglett. So how old are these cards? I'm like.
This is X and Y. I believe this is 2016.
Wow. But these are still good, right? Like are they a little expensive? Like what are these? I
genuinely don't know the market on these, but I mean that looks cool to me.
Chat, help us out. Chat. Come on, King. I know you're in the chat.
I know the Evolutions is about like $25-$30 pack nowadays.
Wow.
But yeah, this is what I pulled.
$25 a pack. That's awesome. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna get that graded? You're gonna sell it?
I think we can give it away if that's what people want.
Is that what people want?
I'm all for it.
We got 28 people watching us.
Hey man.
What do you think, guys? This is crazy. That was fun.
Really cool. That was fun. I think we should make that a tradition. Pack battle on your podcast.
A pack battle? Yeah, do you speak Spanish?
I do, yeah.
Oh, someone Dylan Santiago said something in Spanish for PokeRon. So I don't know if can you read it or you can't see it.
I can't even see the chat. So.
Oh, it says. All right, you'll have to look back on this.
Yeah, I'll take a look later.
All right, Ron. Thank you. Thank you so much for the
you.
pack. Thank you for vending with us. Thank you for being a delight and always being so awesome. I'm really happy to have met you and that you are a vendor at our shows. And what's the next show that you're doing? This Saturday, you're going to be at the Woodbridge Card Show?
Correct. Yeah, I'll be at Woodbridge this Saturday, and then I'll be at your show the 16th, right?
Yep, February 16th. It's just
February
3 weeks
16th.
away.
Can't miss
We're out of our minds. Oh, I don't know what we're doing. We're crazy, but
we're having fun. We're having fun.
We're having a fun. We're having a fun. We're having a great time. Thank you. Thank you everyone for watching. You can find PokeRon on Instagram. Are you on TikTok? What other platforms are you on?
It's the same thing. PokeRon cards across YouTube, Instagram. I got into TikTok and then also Whatnot. Same thing all across.
All right. So find Ron at the Woodbridge Card Show this weekend and across all platforms at PokeRon Cards. All right.
Yes,
thanks.
yes. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, take care. Bye.
Yeah. Oh, I'm still live.